organisms living in the ocean totally resculpted the structure of the atmosphere. This is all Len Margulis working all this out in tandem with James Lovelock, the Gaia hypothesis originators, and created this poisonous atmosphere, turned our skies blue, but now oxygen is a poison, and it will go along ripping electrons from orbits and destabilizing other atoms, and it will certainly destroy the membranes of these anaerobic, anoxic creatures. And they had created this sort of little apocalypse for themselves, within which, like we're doing now, we're doing the opposite. We're pumping CO2 into the atmosphere and creating global warming, not just CO2, but other gases as well, but CO2 is the primary, coming from automobile exhaust. They did the opposite, but they were in the same sort of threatening position, and the response to that was the evolutionary mutation of creating oxidizing aerobic bacteria that could handle oxygen, that took it in, and they became these aggressive little, almost Viking-like creatures that would then go around pillaging, puncturing the cellular membranes of these much larger bacterial descendants who had given rise to them and devouring them from the inside out. But then over time, when Margulis figured out...
Did that have the mitochondria move on?
Yeah, I'm getting right to that. So then over time, what happens is these little aerobes, these oxygen-respiring aerobes, began to symbiotically evolve with their descendants, these cyanobacteria, or there's other species of bacteria, some non-photosynthesizing ones, and they began to build up the architecture of the cell. So you move from the bacterial cell to the creation of the nucleated cell, the eukaryote, where there's a cellular membrane around the nucleus, and then you have all of these, you have, in the human cell, you have mitochondria, which Lynn Margulis thinks were these bacteria that evolved to handle the oxygen respiration, and then in plants, she thinks the chloroplasts were the descendants of these original photosynthesizing bacteria. So you have this sort of symbiotic cooperation. It isn't just survival of the fittest. There's also cooperation here. It may have taken a woman to see this, I don't know. There's cooperation amongst organisms, and they gradually learned how to build organisms. And from out of this, they invented also sex and death. Bacteria do not age. They do not know death. There is no death. There may be bacteria on the planet today that were alive 3 billion years ago. It's not likely, but there may be, because they don't age. And they don't have sex either. The reproduction is a kind of, they sort of